for us.
We salute Dr. Abu Safiya and all Palestinians.
I would just like to start with three takeaways that we'd like people to keep in mind for today. So the first is that we are calling on Canada and Canadian medical organizations to immediately recognize the targeted destruction of health infrastructure and the targeting of health workers as the crime against humanity of extermination and this has been recognized by the United Nations. The second point is that all abducted Palestinians, including kidnapped health workers who are being tortured and murdered, must immediately be released. And our third point for the press conference that we'd like people to take away is that we should all be calling for an end to the genocide, immediate implementation of a two-way arms embargo, severing of diplomatic ties with Israel.
I love that.
My name is Kavita Algu. I'm a palliative care doctor in Toronto.
Dr. Algu, you're standing and behind you is what's known in Toronto as Hospital Row. How do you explain the deafening silence of the medical associations here in Canada with respect to the decimation of Gaza's healthcare system and the killing of healthcare professionals?
I've been thinking about this question a lot, and it's inexplicable. It's inhumane. It is racist, and I just don't know what to say. There are no words. It's cowardly. It's horrible. We all know these are crimes. They're being committed in plain sight as a part of Israel's genocide. There's a very targeted campaign against the health system, against doctors, health workers of all kinds, and the silence of these institutions, as well as the silencing that they're participating in, is absolutely disturbing and horrible.
What would you like to see from the Canadian government?
From the Canadian government, I think there's a lot of very important things. The first is to condemn these crimes that are occurring, but condemning is not enough. There needs to be action. Canada still has not implemented an arms embargo on Israel, and Canadian military equipment is very possibly being used to decimate the health system in Gaza, kill our colleagues, and destroy hospitals systematically. And so an arms embargo must immediately be applied. There should be severing of diplomatic relations and sanctions on the Israeli government. And I think that would be a good place to start. Circle back to the medical institutions as well. I just want to comment on the Canadian Medical Association specifically and note the fact that they have maintained silence on this genocide and this targeting of our colleagues in Gaza for 15 months now. 5 days after Russia invaded Ukraine, they issued a statement in support of our colleagues in the Ukraine. That was humane, that was principled, that was the right thing to do. They called for the protection of hospitals, of health workers, of civilians, of health infrastructure, and it is inexplicable their silence now. It has been over a year. It has been over 400 days since the first hospital was bombed, and there is no other explanation for their silence other than racism. It's inexplicable.
Some data has been shared already, but more than 1,000 healthcare workers have been killed. More than 450 are abducted into death camps. More than 12,000 patients who are critically ill need to leave Gaza for medical attention or prevented from leaving, and at the rate that they're leaving at, it'll be 10 years before they get out. This is what's happening. It is not complicated. It's very simple. Very damn simple. It is not complicated. And there are no two sides to the story. There's one story. This is the story. This is it. We contrast this cowardice, this hypocrisy, this complicity with the bravery, the principle, the compassion, the care, the resistance, the dignity, the pride of the workers in Gaza. You see here. We should not mince our words anymore. There's very little that we can do from here, but at least we can speak out and call people out. We are here to honor these people. We are here to mention their names, to demand their unconditional freedom and the prosecution of their killers and murderers. We demand the freedom of Dr. Hussam Abu Safiya and all healthcare workers and all political prisoners. We demand an end to this complicity and to genocide. And we are not going to be silenced, and we are not going to be intimidated. We're not going to be. However few we are, however many we are, in this critical junction in history, at least we can say we were not silent. And in the end, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.